DMV Download, the new daily podcast from WTOP News, is out now. Hosts Megan Clorty and Luke Garrett get the story behind the story.
Every weekday afternoon, Megan and I will go beyond the headlines with WTOP reporters and sources to bring you more on the biggest local stories impacting you, our fellow Washingtonians.
The DMV Download podcast is available now on all major podcast platforms. Subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. The DMV Download podcast is presented by Steamfitters Local 602.
Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Kool and the Gang celebrates good times at Wolf Trap in Vienna, Virginia on Friday, June 3rd. I spoke with Robert Kool Bell about the group's biggest hits, from Jungle Boogie to Get Down on It to Celebration.
This is Robert Kool Bell from Kool and the Gang.
First of all, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, man.
Now, how often do you guys get out to Wolf Trap? Is this like an annual summer thing?
Yeah, we didn't do it last year because of COVID. We did it a couple of years ago, but now I think we're coming in with more stay in this time, yeah.
So how cool is it to have them open it up for you guys?
Oh, great. We work quite often, especially before the pandemic. We were doing a lot of shows together. Yeah, it's a great package.
So wait, I'm curious, what did you do during the pandemic? The last 2 years has felt like 20 years to me. I think we've all aged about longer during that period. But what did you do? Did it allow you to some time just to hang out with family, or did you get some songwriting done, or what'd you do?
Well, what I did was pretty much what I'm doing now. We were zooming around the world. We call a little place here the OTC, which is the Old Town Condo down here in Lake Mary, Florida. So we were doing a lot of interviews. We did a couple songs, with the band, but that was pretty much it.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, thank God we have this Zoom technology that can keep the music going and the interviews going through all of it. It's been really helpful. Well, cool. Well, so what are people, if they come to Wolf Trap, what are they going to see? Is it like a Kool and the Gang greatest hits kind of a thing?
Yeah, well, we will be doing, of course, the hits of the 70s. Mm-hmm. That's Jungle Boogie, Hollywood swinging, funky stuff, Summer Madness.
Yeah.
And then Open Sesame. And then the hits of the 80s, from Ladies' Night to Celebration, including Cherish, Get Down on It, Fresh. Yeah, we're going to keep it moving and grooving.
All of the beloved ones. Well, we can get into some more of those songs in a minute, but whenever I have someone on, I love to hear sort of about how you got into your journey of music to begin with. What sort of music did you listen to around the house? Did your folks play certain records? I want to know how you got into music to begin with.
Well, of course, we started back in 1964, and several name changes: the Jazzy Acts, Soul Town Band, Kool and the Flames, and then Kool and the Gang. Now, back in Youngstown, Ohio, I was born in Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
We came to Jersey in 1960.
Gotcha.
Around the house, my uncle would be playing, little Miles Davis, or my grandmother played the piano a little bit. And we just listened to AM and FM radio back then, more AM back during that time, I'm talking about the 60s.
Yeah.
So that's what I was listening to. And then, of course, when we formed the band, the Jazzy Acts, then, like my brother, Carlis, who passed about a year ago, he listened to John Coltrane. I was listening to Ron Carter. Then we had Cannonball Adderley, Dennis Thomas, Richie West, Herbie Hancock, Charles Smith, Wes Montgomery. So we were always into the jazz thing in the early days. Oh, George Brown. You listen to Philly Joe Jones. So.
Right. Yeah, of course. And again, sorry for the loss of your brother Ronald. He passed in 2020 during this whole 2-year span of this pandemic stretch. Condolences with that. But any memories of him growing up? You know what I mean? Did you guys play a lot together around the house? Did you start a early band together? I want to know memories about just memories that make you smile of him, to remember him.
Well, before I do that, also have to add that we just lost DT, our alto saxophone player.
Oh, wow.
Months ago.
So two major losses in the last year.
Yeah. But getting back to your question, back in Youngstown, Ohio, we used to take these paint cans, and depending on how much paint is in the bottom of the can, create a certain tone.
So you just dump it out or fill it up, depending what sound you want, I guess.
Yeah, we sat on this little hill called the Immaculate High School, and we would just beat the drum, and it would echo down because it was on a hill, so it would echo down to the valley.
Right. Carry down.
Eventually, when we got to Jersey City, I was able to get some bongos and a conga. That's what I played in the beginning, and my brother started the saxophone. Then I got on the bass when I was at Cafe Wap, and so my brother said to me, "Listen, why don't you come up there and play the bass?" I said, "Well, I don't know about bass like that." But what I did, I learned how to play one song on one string with Spike Mickens. His brother was a guitar player. And that song was Coming Home Baby, because I can play the whole song on the E string. And that was the beginning of my bass playing.
I love it. So take me then into forming the actual Kool and the Gang for that first self-titled album in '69. I guess it was D-Light Records. How did you guys actually pull together and get signed there in the beginning?
Well, after the various name changes, the last name we called ourselves was Kool and the Flames.
Kool and the Flames?
Yeah.
Nice.
But we had to change that because of James Brown and the Famous Flames.
Oh, like a copyright thing?
No, we just didn't want to have any problem with the guy.
Oh, okay. So, I got you.
Anyway, so that's when we started our first deal and album. Gene Red's father used to work for James Brown too. So let's get rid of the flame. And so we put together the first album. Gene Red had a label called Red Coach Records. Now, we signed to his production company, Red Coach, and then he did a deal with Delight Records. And that's how we ended up on Delight Records. First record came out in 1969 called Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
The album was called Kool and the Gang, and got rid of the flame, and now the group was called Kool and the Gang.
And you were off to the races. You've had so many hits, but I'll try to go. We can't hit them all, but I'll try to hit at least a couple of them semi-chronologically. So tell me about Jungle Boogie in 1973. That is an iconic one. Tell me about the creation of that. You share a songwriting credit on it, obviously. So, any memories of putting that together in the studio? Well,
that whole movement started around 73, I believe it was. The Light Records came to us and said, "Listen, you guys been having some territorial hits in like Connecticut, Philadelphia, maybe Washington, D.C. He said, but there's this big record called Soul Macusta by Mongo DeBango." And the producer was a hot producer at the time. So they wanted us to meet with this producer and come up with what they call a hit. So we met with the producer once, and we weren't feeling him. So we went to the studio. Baggage, it was called, downtown in the Village area almost. We went in there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we came out at midnight. We had created Jungle Boogie, Hollywood Swinging, and funky stuff.
Yeah.
No more problems with the record company. About 5 hits.
Yeah.
The album was called Wild and Peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened, man. I guess you can say our back was against the wall. We had to get down on it. That's what we did.
You have so many hits, you can just drop them in as puns and just about as jokes in just about any sentence. I do want to know about the very beginning of Jungle Boogie. There's like get down, and then there's like that long scream, like that. Who's is it you or who come up with the scream?
That was DT. Yeah, that was DT with that scream, because we said Jungle Boogie, try to create a jungle vibe and a funky vibe, and Jungle Boogie is, I think, the #2 most sampled song. I mean, we got Celebration, a lot of the other ones, but there are a lot of samples going on with Jungle Boogie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess when Pulp Fiction dropped it in, it hit a new generation. But do you kind of geek out if you're in a movie theater or you're watching TV at home and then you see, like a Pulp Fiction using Jungle Boogie, or when you see them in movies, do you sit back and say, yeah, that's us?
Yeah, that's nice. The nice one was when the Muppets did Jungle Boogie.
Nice. Was Kermit, or was it Animal was on the drums, I think, right? I don't know.
Whoever was on the drum, he was funky. They got down on that Jungle Boogie.
the Muppet, Jim Henson, rest in peace. They know what's up. But that's awesome. All right, well then, so that was the early ones. How about "Take Me to Ladies' Night" in 1979? Why do you think that one caught on with everybody? That's like is it just the perfect song you could dance to out, at the disco?
Well, Ladies' Night came about. My wife and I was hanging out in New York over at Studio 54, Eugene Studios Clubs, and J.T. Taylor had just joined the band. And so I went back to the guys. I said, I got a perfect title for a song for our new lead singer. He said, what? I said, Ladies' Night. And the guy said, wow, Ladies' Night. We had that all over the world. Every weekend there's a Ladies' Night. And the late Frankie Crocker, he broke that record in New York, and the rest is history. It broke all across the country. And that's how it came about.
Stay tuned for the rest of my conversation with Kool and the gang, but first a message from a fellow WTOP podcast.
DMV Download, the new daily podcast from WTOP News, is out now. Hosts Megan Clorty and Luke Garrett get the story behind the story.
Every weekday afternoon, Megan and I will go beyond the headlines with WTOP reporters and sources to bring you more on the biggest local stories impacting you, our fellow Washingtonians.
The DMV Download podcast is available now on all major podcast platforms. Subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. The DMV Download podcast is presented by Steamfitters Local 602.
Welcome back to Beyond the Fame for the rest of my conversation with Kool and the gang.
Yeah, your music was huge all through the 70s, but then you proved you could carry it into the 80s in 1980 with Celebration. Man, is it wild to you that even 42 years later, you can still go to a wedding and you can still hear them play Celebrate Good Times, or a sports game? They win the game, they play Celebrate Good Times. I mean, there's no way you could have known that it would have been that big back then, but did you have a sense that it could catch on at least a little? Like, were you in there recording it saying, wow, this could be like a universal thing?
Well, what happened was we were out for the American Music Award, and we won 2 American Music Awards. And my brother said, I got a great idea. He said, the tag of Ladies' Night is, come on, let's all celebrate. This is your night tonight. He said, I got this track. I got this idea for a song. We're going to call it Celebration. And he played the track. The track was a basic track, but it had that old down home feeling, like down there in Birmingham, Alabama, somewhere, drinking, grandpa drinking some Kool-Aid. And then the other guy said, Yahoo, whoa. And it had that rock and cheer feel. We didn't know this record. It's not a lot of lyrics to it. It's just a good time. And this record here, it just lives on and on and on. Like you said, Super Bowls, various games. They even played Celebration at the space station.
Oh, it played in outer space?
They would listen to Celebration.
I love it. There's a party going on in space. That's so great. Well,
Cyberspace Boogie. That's the next one.
Outer Space Boogie.
Cyberspace Boogie.
I love it. There you go. See, you better be right. You got your notepad. You better be writing these ideas down. Oh, that's
how
great.
it comes, though, man.
I'm sure it probably just comes from random things,
Yeah.
All right. Again, there's no time to do them all, but you mentioned it earlier, so we got to ask you about Get Down on It. Who came up with that one? Which one of you guys wrote that one?
That was my brother again. There was a friend of ours that came to him and said, have you listened to Bob Marley? And my brother said, no. He said, yeah, you should listen to a little Bob Marley. So my brother started listening to Bob Marley. And then the track is not a reggae, but it had that feel to it. Get Down on It. Get your back up off the wall. That's how it happened, man. And then we just came up with how you want to do it, you know, and get your back up off the wall, get up on the dance floor. But we had another meaning for that too, is that how you gonna do it if you don't have get your education, get your back up off the wall.
So it worked for the club or for your life.
Oh yeah. Most people say, "Oh, I know what that was. That's get down on it, shoot."
Multiple meanings that people can think that it means. That's great. And you never know. Yeah, there might be some people out there that actually were scared to get out on the dance floor and you got them out there, or scared to go to school and you did. You might have inspired them. You never know. Cool.
That's my man in Saturday Night Fever.
John Travolta, baby.
John Travolta.
Doing a little bit of that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gosh, that was such a cool era of music. Tell me about, we don't have time for all of them. How about Fresh? Tell me about Fresh.
Well, Fresh, JT Taylor and I can't think of the guy's last name. First name was Sandy. I think it's Sandy Sandler. Sandy. Well, anyway, he came up with the idea of the concept. See, Fresh was sand in the street. A lot of times we pull some of the sands in the street. So if you see a girl, she look good, that girl's fresh. And that's how they came up with the whole thing, the whole Fresh concept. You know, right. Conversation going down, you know, see the lady walking, oh, she looks great. Oh, she looks fresh.
Right. And the video was like a Cinderella thing or something, right?
Oh, we did that video, yeah.
Later, yeah.
London, yeah.
Right. All right, time for one more. Tell me about Cherish. That one is a song, obviously, pun intended, we all cherish. But yeah, tell me about just the creation of that if we got time.
Okay, Cherish, we were all down in the Bahamas, Conference Point. And we was working on became the emergency album. And everybody was like kind of cooling out. We have been, working and have various hits. And we were down there with family. And my brother came up with the track, and then JT and the rest of us said, we have something to cherish. Yeah, let's cherish the love. Let's cherish the fact that we have been able to maintain for so many years. Then, now it's really a whole lot of years. But it was family. It was family there, and we've been thankful. And that's how we came up with the song, Cherish the Love.
I love it. Thanks for sharing these inside stories, especially because I know whenever I talk to you, you guys are like legends of music. I'm sure you get asked about them so many times and you have the answers probably ready in your head. So thank you for indulging me with a soundbite on each of them. I really appreciate it.
I got to mention one more thing.
Oh, I can talk as long as you want.
No, this is the last one.
Okay.
My brother. When my brother passed, he came up with our most recent album called Perfect Union and Pursuit of Happiness. Now, when Biden became nominated, they played Celebration. And then his nomination speech, he mentioned about Pursuit of Happiness and Perfect Union. And then my brother came up with a great idea with a song called The Pursuit of Happiness, which happens to be our most latest single. And the album's called Perfect Union.
So both of those came from Biden's inauguration speech?
Well, part of it, yeah. I mean, we have a whole album, Hold On. We got a lot of we got another Get Down On It. We call it Leave It on the Dance Floor.
Right. And Perfect Union is what the album's called, or what the song?
Well, the album's called Perfect Union.
Okay.
And the single's called Pursuit of Happiness.
I love it. Well, that was a Perfect Union was that was an Obama line too. A more perfect union. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it kind of works. Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing me all the way to the present day with the new stuff. Well, thank you so much you've been really generous with your time. Is there anything else you want to circle back around in closing to the Wolf Trap show? Talk to our listeners. Tell them why. Hey guys, come on out. Why should they come on out?
Well, hey. We're very excited about coming to the Wolf Trap again. Now, we've been there in the past with Chaka Khan. Might have been Morris Day. Morris Day is also with us again. And I got a saying, it goes a little bit like this. Hey, what you got to say? COVID, go away. Because we want to play. We want to see the happy faces again. We want to get down on it again. So y'all come on out and have a big party and celebrate good times. Come on.
I love it. You can tell you've rehearsed that. That's a perfect little tagline. I love it. I love it. Hey, this just popped in my brain really quick. Final seconds. What do I have to do, and other, musician or, journalists and stuff? How can we get you all in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because you're in the, you're in the Vocal Group Hall of Fame, Songwriter Hall of Fame, Hollywood Walk of Fame, you Grammys, you've done it all. But man, I see people getting in, and they're deserving. But you guys, of all people, need to get it. What can we do? What you got?
We don't know what the politics is, but maybe people are listening. Maybe next year, was it Jimmy Kimmel just mentioned it about the Hall of Fame?
Right.
The president of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was in the elevator with a ceremony in Cincinnati that my brother-in-law worked at, and he asked him a question. He said, "How come Kool and the Gang is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?" I said, "You're the president." He said, "I vote for him all the time." I was just like, "Well, then what's going on?"
The president of the group is voting for it, and they're still not getting in.
Hall of Fame. He said
Hall
he
of
voted
Fame.
for us.
Yeah.
But I guess it's that certain few. I don't know who you are.
We're gonna have
love this time, please.
we're gonna keep, and again, I know, like most music artists are like, who cares? It's all about the fans. But it would be nice, and I think you're deserving. So I'm gonna beat on that drum for you. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna keep that going.
I mean, after all, I was born in Ohio now. I'm a Buckeye. If that you have to be, if that means anything, the Hall of Fame is in Cleveland, Ohio.
You're a hometown hero. Hometown hero. Come on. What? It's almost like, how many hits do we get? What'd you say?
What you just said, hometown hero.
Hometown hero. Let's make it happen. This is from now till next year is gonna be my push. Let's do it. All right, we'll get you on there. Hey, okay. Thank you so much. Everyone, come out to Wolf Trap for Kool and the Gang with Morris Day and the Times. So two great bands. You're gonna see them Friday, June 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets on wolftrap.org. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. This is great.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.